Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to the Master of Dungeons Twitch channel, twitch.tv/The Master of Dungeons. I am the Master of Dungeons. It is Wednesday, which means it's time for Tavern Talks at the Shifty Board. We've been going over the new playtest material for One D&D, basically 5th edition, 5.5, whatever you want to call it, which is the books are coming out for next year for the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, any viewers that want to ask questions, I will share my experiences and advice if you have anything you want to talk about with regards to D&D. We left off last week with the Oath of Vengeance Paladin. I went ahead and pulled up on D&D Beyond the old 2014, I won't say old, the 2014 Player's Handbook with the Oath of Vengeance, so we can compare that to what they are suggesting from the changes. Obviously, they do have note changes here in this. And of course, if you want to playtest this material, you can find it on D&D Beyond. You can find it on the Wizards website, or you can join our Discord server, the Master of Dungeons Community Discord server, down below. If you click here on Twitch, if you click on the About Us section, there is a link to our Discord. You can just click on that. I have it set up in there as for some, as long as you follow Adventurers League or One D&D Playtest, D&D News, you'll have all this information in there, all in one spot for you to be able to download all the playtest material. And if you want to playtest it, simply use the 2014 Player's Handbook and then make the changes to the different things of those classes that are in the playtest material. Some of the stuff's brand new too. Some of the new subclasses like the Bard's College of Dance, things like that. So let's go ahead and look at the Oath of Vengeance. Again, I have not read through any of this. This is the first time I'm seeing it past this page. Wherever we stop, I always jot that down every week. We pick back up there. So this is just going to be my first time reactions to it as well. Obviously, these are not the finalized versions of the material. That's why it's playtest. They'll come out and do a survey to check those who have been playtesting it and get information, tweak things here and there. For example, they've already decided that they're going to be changing the Warlock back to pack magic. As we have talked about the Warlock a couple of streams ago, we discussed the Warlock and how they were changing it over to a normal spell casting class, and it seemed that the playtesters were not happy with that, so they're going to be switching that back to Warlock pack magic. From what I've seen from some of the reviews of the playtest pack at 5. This is playtest pack at 6 with some updates there. So let's go into it. Oath of Vengeance. Here are the updates, main updates in this subclass since the 2014 Player's Handbook. They've dropped Hunter's Mark, which is an oath spell for Oath of Vengeance, and added a Compel Duel instead. I can see that pretty cool. I can definitely see that. It's better to have Hunter's Mark, definitely, but Compel Duel is pretty cool. If they fail their save, they have to fight only you. Vow of Enmity now lets you move your vow to another creature if the previous creature was reduced to 0 hit points before the duration of the feature ends. And the feature's range has increased. Okay. Relentless Avenger can now reduce the target speed to 0. Interesting. Abjure Enemy has been replaced by Abjure Foes in the base class. Alright, that's the base Paladin class from which we went over last week. An Avenging Angel now uses a bonus action instead of an action. Its duration is now 10 minutes rather than an hour. Shortened it down. You can regain the use of it by expending a 5th level spell slot. Alright, so we have Hunter's Mark and Bane instead of Compelled Duel. Let's see what they had previously. They had Bane and Hunter's Mark. Hold person misses step, that's the same. Haste and protection from energy is the same. Banishment dimension door is the same. Hold monster and scrying is the same. Vow of Enmity at 3rd level is one of the. I don't think they have. Yeah, they kind of changed it around to where you don't, since as I mentioned here, Abjure Enemy has been replaced by Abjure Foes, the base class. They've taken away, as we saw last week, the extra abilities. Usually a Paladin, when they get 3rd level in normal 5th edition, they get their Channel Divinity, of which they have 2 options. For example, with the Oath of Vengeance, it used to be Abjure Enemy and Vow of Enmity, and now it's just the one option, which is Vow of Enmity, as Abjure Enemy has been moved to Abjure Foes for the normal class. All right, so As a bonus action, you expend one use of your channel divinity to utter a vow of enmity against a creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself. And vow of enmity actually used to be only 10 feet. You get an attack roll, advantage on attack rolls against that creature. Knocks to 0 hit points when the vow ends. You can transfer the vow to another creature within 30 feet of yourself. No action required. Oh wow, no action required. I'd almost say make it a bonus action to move it, just like you have to do with Hex or Hunter's Mark. Make this transfer no more than once a turn. Okay. Let's go ahead and compare that to the old one. Bonus action, you can utter a vow of enmity against creatures within 10 feet. Get a So now just basically what happens, drops to 0 hit points or falls unconscious. When that happens, now you can actually transfer it to a different creature. 7th level ability is still Relentless Avenger. Supernatural Focus helps you close off a foe's retreat. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can reduce the creature's speed to 0 and can then move up to half your speed as part of the same reaction. This movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. In the old runes, when you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, you can move up to half your speed immediately after the attack as part of the same reaction. Okay, so this one just basically reduces the creature's speed to 0, and then you can move. So it just added reduce the creature's speed to 0. What was the one? There's a feat that's very similar to that ability, which I think Sentinel. Is that Sentinel that reduces their speed to 0? Something like that. If they move through, reduces that. It's kind of like a doubling up on using a feats kind of ability for the class. But it adds something. It's not like taking away anything, so it's not bad. Soul of Vengeance is still 15th level. Immediately after a creature under the effects of your vow of enmity hits or misses with an attack roll. With an attack, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against that creature if it's within range. So that only affects the creature that you have under the vow of enmity. That's interesting. It's the same as the old one. I would just like maybe have seen it updated a little bit, because basically, yeah, you get a 15th level ability, but most other subclasses have a 15th level ability that does something, that makes them more powerful. This only affects the creature that you would have with the vow of enmity. So it'd be interesting to see a rework of this ability at 15th level. It's really cool that it's under the effects of vow of enmity makes an attack. It should be a Soul of Vengeance that anyone, when a creature makes an attack, what does the other one say when it misses? Or just when you makes attack? Hits or misses with an attack. So that's just kind of clarifying it. But I don't think it should be affected by just whoever you're under the effects of your vow of enmity. At least just my initial reaction is go ahead. That's one of the things that I wasn't big on the older version, was that, again, it was just for something that you have your vow of enmity on. Then Avenging Angel. As a bonus action, you can imbue your aura of protection with holy power, granting the following benefits for 10 minutes, or until you end them as a bonus action. You sprout spectral wings on your back. You have a fly speed equal to your speed and can hover. The old one. Now this drops obviously to 10 minutes instead of an hour. The old one was just gave you a flying speed of 60. So you just have a fly speed equal to your normal speed and can hover. So they added the hover. Hover means you can't be knocked prone, because you can hover in the air if you're knocked down. And the Frightful Aura, when an enemy starts its turn in the aura, the creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw with a frightened condition for 1 minute or until it takes damage. Attack rolls against the frightened creature have advantage. That's fairly similar to the other aura. And of course, you can expend a 5th level spell slot to get the power back. That's an interesting balance. Always, again, on this one, there are a lot of different frightened things that cause the frightened condition, and even if they take damage, they don't. They're allowed maybe a saving throw again to try to resist it. It'd be interesting to just throw that in there, saying, "Hey, look, if they do take damage at the end of their turn, they do get another save against it, or something like that." Of course, the tenets of vengeance are the same. All right. I mean, still fairly close to what it actually was in the normal 2014 Player's Handbook. A couple minor changes. I do like the idea of changing it to Compelled Duel instead of Hunter's Mark. Although Hunter's Mark was really cool to have as a Paladin of Vengeance, especially with your smites. The thing that's interesting is that they took that away in order. Plus, they took away the ability to smite on every attack and just only being allowed to use it once a turn. And I believe they changed it. Let's go ahead and scroll back up just to remind ourselves. I believe they changed it to where you can only smite once on your turn, I believe. Is that what it is? Paladin Smite. Oh yeah, that's right. They completely changed it to where you don't have the old smites. You just have the smiting spells. All right. Completely forgot about that. Lots of things have happened in the past like 3 or 4 weeks, 5 weeks since we went over that last. All right, so let's go ahead and we go through the Paladin. We are on to Ranger. Your huntsmen, your trappers, your trackers, things like that, wanderers of the wilderness. All right, so the main updates to this class since the last playtest version, Deft Explorer, which was a option from Taj's, replaces the expertise feature at first level. Deft Explorer includes 1 expertise choice, along with some terrain-oriented material. And then the feature now improves at 9th level. They can change 1 prepared spell upon finishing a long rest, and 3 cantrips are no longer included. Of course, the Ranger now gets weapon mastery at first level. Favorite enemies move to 2nd level, and it no longer removes concentration from Hunter's Mark. The feature instead allows you to cast the spell a number of times without expending a spell slot. Okay. Interesting. The whole thing of prepared spells and spells known is very interesting. It's almost, they've made some different changes with, obviously with the Adventurers League, which we play a lot of, where whenever you level, you can rebuild your character. It'd be interesting that they put in something like that. Instead of prepared spells, you prepare so many, and then each morning you can change 1 prepared spell to a situation where every time you level, like it's just spells known. And then whenever time you level, you can change one of those spells out or something like that. This is interesting how they say prepared spells. So, all right. There we go. We had talked about that actually in the previous streams about the playtest material. They went ahead and reverted the progression back to the 2014 Ranger, ensuring compatibility with subclasses already in print. That's awesome. Conjure Barrage, changing that from a spell, I guess, to a new 9th level feature. Frost and Foe Slayer is now not limited to once per turn. Still the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. Armor still. Okay, Deft Explorer. Unsurpassed Explorer, choose one of your proficiencies in a skill that appears in the Ranger skill list. You gain expertise in that skill. Choose 2 types of terrain: Arctic, coast, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp, and Underdark. You have advantage on intelligence nature checks about the chosen terrains, and you have advantage on wisdom survival checks to track creatures in them. It's interesting that they put in something like this when most of the thing about the whole thing of when you finish a long rest, you can meditate or replace one of the chosen terrain types with a different one from the list. The whole idea behind this ability, and the idea is like most favored terrain, things like that, favorite enemy from the 2014 Player's Handbook, is that your character's backstory, kind of the idea is that your character came from this certain area. Like you could have come from like if you picked forest and coast, you learned your ranger abilities and stuff probably in an area that was near the coast and a forest nearby. Very interesting that you would have a surface dweller that would have no knowledge whatsoever of the Underdark. Your character's background, say they grew up in the mountains, a mountain range very close to a vast desert. Keep in mind, desert doesn't have to be just a sandy desert. But you have you grew up in the mountains near a desert, and then you have to go deep into a forest and into the Underdark from there, and then you can take a long rest and meditate to replace that chosen terrain. I don't know. Primal spell list. They're just changing it from prepared spells to, or from known spells known to prepared spells. Again, one of those situations where they're changing the wording, which is going to, mess a few things up here and there, in my opinion. Use Druidic Focus, the spellcasting focus for your spells. That's pretty cool. Weapon Mastery. 2 kinds of weapons of your choice, such as longbows and long swords. I guess when you finish a long rest, you can change those as well. I mean, you are proficient with all martial weapons, so I mean, that's not as bad as the whole favored or Deft Explorer thing for me. Or if you want to change it to, pikes or something like that, I could understand that. Okay, level 2, favored enemy. You're adept at focusing on a single foe. You always have the Hunter's Mark spell prepared. You can cast it a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier without expending a spell slot. You gain all expended use of this ability when you finish a long rest. Archery, defense, dueling, or 2-weapon fighting. For those that might not be aware of the Ranger and older games, the Rangers always started off in first edition with 2-weapon fighting and archery. They were specialized in both, kind of, in a way. Not really. Didn't really have. They had specializations that came in later. But yeah, 2-weapon fighting. Rangers were always known for fighting with 2 weapons and their archery skills. Basically, if you think of Legolas and Aragorn, that's kind of, more Legolas was the idea of what Rangers came from. Obviously, in the books, Obviously, in the movies as well, you always saw Legolas fighting with two blades or using his bow. That's the idea behind the Ranger. Of course, you get your subclass. For this, they're going to use Beastmaster, Fey Wanderer, Gloomstalker, or Hunter. And of course, the Fey Wanderer is in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So they took the Gloomstalker from Xanathar's. They took the Hunter and Beastmaster from the Player's Handbook 2014 to put in here. So it's going to be interesting to check out how they changed the Gloomstalker. For 5th edition, the majority of hunters that I've seen, hunters, the majority of rangers that I've seen come to the table have mostly been Gloomstalkers. One that I really like, is really interesting, is the Horizon Walker from Xanathar's. It doesn't really get as much play. However, I have seen someone, and actually, I haven't had a chance in the year or so, but occasionally I would get to play. A few years back, before the pandemic, I would get to play on Tuesday evenings, and I saw a player take a Wood Elf Ranger up to 20th level as a Horizon Walker. They became pretty powerful, especially with their ability to teleport around the battle map. All right, so this is just going to be using Beastmaster, Gloomstalker, and Hunter is going to be in this playtest. ASI at 4th level, extra attack at 5th level. Speed increases by 10, climb speed and swim speed equal to your speed. That's pretty cool. I don't think that was in the actual Rangers ability. Let's go back and check the Ranger. Pull up our D&D Beyond here. Source book, come back. Ranger, there we go. I think it was called Landstride. It was 8th level ability, I believe. And of course, your favorite enemy and Natural Explorer improvements were normally at 6th level. And Landstride was 8th level. I believe that was what this is. No, that's actually, it's non-difficult terrain. Costs you extra. Difficult terrain, non-magical difficult terrain costs you extra movement. Okay, so roving, they get increased speed, and also get a climb speed and swim speed. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty cool for Rangers. Subclass feature from your Ranger subclass. ASI, of course. So Conjure Barrage. You always have the Conjure Barrage spell prepared. Many of the other classes you have, they gain a certain subclass or class ability feature, and they get the spell prepared, and they allow it to cast at least once without spending a spell slot. So what would be nice for the Conjure Barrage there is, okay, at 9th level you always have Conjure Barrage prepared, and you can cast it once without spending a spell slot. You can gain use of this feature after you finish a long rest. That'd be great for them to add just to that, just because it's like, okay, at 9th level you get to have an extra spell prepared always, and that's it. Which is not horrible, but at 9th level, to kind of stay in line with the other features, hey, let them at least cast it once without expending a spell slot. Now, see, that's the whole thing there. If they take away the whole meditation after a long rest to change it out, they could also move that back to 6th level where the other one was before, and allow them to gain an extra 2 types of terrain. All right, Tireless. Primal Forces now help fuel you on your journeys, granting the following benefits. As an action, you can gain temporary hit points. That is really cool. decrease exhaustion. Whenever you finish a short rest, your exhaustion level, if any, decreases by 1. That's really, really cool for Rangers. Especially since they've gone to 10 levels of exhaustion instead of 6. And you can only, when you finish a long rest, you used to get rid of all your exhaustion. And now you only get rid of 1 after a long rest. That's pretty cool for a Ranger, though. Because typically during an adventure, during the day, the adventurers are typically going to get usually 2 to 3 short rests. Especially if like they could take a short rest after they're, adventuring they get up, they're near a dungeon, they go into the dungeon after breakfast, they fight for a while, they, have a short rest where they perhaps maybe eat a meal. So you're getting 2 to 3 short rests during a day, usually, typically. No, unless they're, completely fighting all day, for example, like in a massive battle or something. 11th level, you get something from the subclass. Yeah, ASI at 12th level, Nature's Veil. Lets you become invisible. That's replacing Vanish. It's called Nature's Veil now. So that's a big improvement from Vanish, because Vanish was that you can just use the hide action as a bonus action on your turn. And you can't be tracked by non-magical means unless you choose to leave a trail. That's in addition to that. Being able to cast invisibility or give yourself the invisible condition is interesting, but it only lasts until the end of your next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier. You get all expended uses when you finish a long rest. That's interesting. And that is my familiar. You can hear her crying in the background. My cat, she woke up. Subclass at 15th level, ASI again at 16th level. Conjure Volley spell, again, should say, hey, you can use it once without expending a spell slot. Feral Senses, get Blindside. Blindside's really cool. I love Blindside. It's a little late. Oops. It's a little late to be giving a Ranger Blindside at 18th level. And it's very interesting. It's similar to Feral Sense. I always thought Feral Sense was still a little late to be getting that. The cool thing is that I think that Feral Sense, also the blindside range of 30 feet is very similar to what it was before, and that you can detect invisible creatures basically within 30 feet. AS at 19th level and Foe Slayer. Whenever your attack roll misses the target of your hunter's mark, you can add your wisdom modifier to the attack roll, potentially turning it into a hit. That's interesting. That is actually a really cool update compared to the old Foe Slayer, because basically what happens is if you miss, then you can add your wisdom modifier, but here's the other thing too, is only on something that you have Hunter's Marked. As before, it was once on each of your turns you can add your wisdom modifier to attack or damage roll of an attack you make. So they're making it to where let's see here. When your attack roll misses the target of your hunter's mark, you can add your wisdom modifier to the attack roll, potentially turn it into a hit. In addition, whenever you hit that target with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can automatically add your wisdom modifier to the damage. I can see that. I can see that. Just putting it on something you have hunter's mark on. The advantage on that also is the fact that it doesn't say once a turn. So at 20th level, if you're a Gloomstalker, let's say, well, of course, we're going to look at the Gloomstalker in a second. The old Gloomstalker, you at the beginning of combat, on the first round of combat, you got a extra attack. So if you have something Hunter's marked on the first turn, even in extra turns after that, or say you have extra attacks from a fighter or something along those lines. Actually, it wouldn't because of 20th level. But if you're like a Gloomstalker or whatever, you're hasted, every attack you make at the creature, the target that has your Hunter's mark, if it misses, you can add your Wisdom modifier to potentially turn it into a hit. At 20th level, potentially a Ranger is going to have at least an 18, if not a 20 Wisdom. So that's actually pretty cool. And then every time you hit a target, that target with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can add your Wisdom modifier to the damage. That's pretty cool. We're going to take a small, short little break here real quick. I'm going to take care of my familiar. We'll be back here real quick, and we'll start looking at the Ranger subclasses, beginning with Beastmaster. Please stick around. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. All right, the Beastmaster, the changes. Primal Companion returns from Tasha's. Exceptional training now allows you to command your beast. Use its bonus action to take the dash. Oh, wow. Disengage, dodge, or help action. Whew. Ooh, it now allows your beast to benefit from your Hunter's Mark spell. You magically summon a primal beast. Draw strength from your bond with nature. Beast of the land, beast of the sea, or beast of the sky. See, it's where they change like the shape change ability to certain beasts, then they leave the hunters the same thing. Again, streamline it. like it says during your turn instead of immediately after you on your turn. They're also kind of specifying it to where you can't say, attack my enemies, and then it just continues attacking and you don't have to take a bonus action each turn. I like that it has. You can make it do something that's stat block or take a different action. And just continue to attack my enemies is not an action. That's really cool. I do like that idea because a lot of characters that summon beasts to fight with them or summon Fae to fight with them or things like that, I do like that they're changing the wording on that. That way players aren't trying to... I'm not saying anything bad about players. I've just been a forever DM, and players are always going to try to take advantage of the rules as much as they can. Well, no, I shouldn't say all of them. Not all of them, definitely. Basically, just the ones that think they can win D&D, which you can. Sacrifice one of your attacks when you take the attack action to command the beast to take the attack action. That's in addition. This is interesting here that the beast can take any action of its choice. There are going to be players that need that clarified. So I would definitely maybe clarify that up a little bit, because normally if the person's incapacitated, the beast's still around, that would kind of reverts to the DM controlling it as the player's not there conscious, or I should say the player's incapacitated and can't control it really. Obviously, this is in line most likely because of the Artificer's ability with their, especially the Battlemaster or Battlesmith, whatever that is, that they can obviously return their Steel Defender to life within a minute with the Mending spell. I was hoping she was going to jump up in her bed back there, but she's not. So a new Primal Beast. That's pretty cool. It's got the stats. Use your bonus action to command your Primal Companion Beast to take an action. You can also command it to take the dash, disengage, dodge, or help action as a bonus action. In addition, whenever the beast hits with an attack and deals damage, it can deal your choice of force damage or its normal damage type. That's really cool too, because in a way with this, you can always, like if you get 5th level, you hit your extra attack. You can use your one attack and then use your bonus action to command your Primal Companion to attack, and it can take a bonus action. And you can also sacrifice one of your actions, one of your attacks on your attack action, to have it attack as well. So it can take 2 attacks and then dash, dodge, disengage, or help. So you can have it use your bonus action to have it attack, and then command it to use its help action as a bonus action. And then you can use your attack, expend one of your attacks with extra attack to have it attack again, and then you also have an advantage on your attack. Interesting. Oh, and then at 11th level, your beast can attack 3 times. And then also add its hunter's mark. Whew. I want to play Beastmaster Ranger now. Alright. When you cast a spell targeting yourself, you can also affect your Primal Companion Beast with the spell if the beast is within 30 feet of you. Now, there's the Gloomstalker spells. Did we miss the Beastmaster spells, or did it not give the Beastmaster spells? They did not give the Beastmaster spells. All right, Gloomstalkers. Here's the changes. Now Dread Ambush. That was the ability that allows the Gloomstalker to make the extra attack in the first round in Xanathars. So the changes here are now allows the Ranger to deal extra damage more often than only during the first round of combat. Includes the Frighten condition. Oh my goodness, Umbral Sight now increases your dark vision by 60 feet instead of 30 feet if you already have that sight. Oof. That puts you up to 180 with playing a Drow. Up to 180 feet of dark vision, plus if you have Goggles of Night, that increases another 30 feet, so that gives you 210 dark vision feet. Feet of dark vision. Stalker's Fury has been redesigned to enhance the frightened effects granted by the Dread Ambusher. Shadow Dodge now allows you to teleport immediately after the attack misses. The feature even works against an attack that has advantage. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Okay, they changed the spells. Let's go ahead and check out Xanathars. Let's switch over to that source so we can look at what they had previously. Xanathar's Guide to Everything. We'll go to Ranger, Gloomstalker. I know that they changed the spells because they were Gloomstalker magic, so let's see here. They might not have. Disguise Self, Rope Trick, Fear, Greater Vis, Seeming. Okay, that's the same. Dread Ambusher. When you roll initiative, you can add your wisdom modifier to the roll. They automatically added that instead of where was that? Was that where that was already? Oh, okay, that was at third level already. Okay, cool. At the start of your first turn of combat, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of the turn, which is fairly standard. Once per turn, when you attack a creature and hit it with a weapon, you can deal an extra 1d8 psychic damage to the target and force it to make a wisdom saving throw. Gets your spell save DC on a failed save. Has the frighten condition until the start of your next turn. You can use this benefit a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So they took away the extra attack from the Dread Ambusher. Which is interesting because if you had a Dread Ambusher / fighter combo, you could actually take in the attack action on that turn, the first round of combat. If you action surge, that would give you another. Say, for example, you had the attack extra attack feature, and you were Dread Ambusher Gloomstalker, and you also had a fighter that had one of your classes were fighter, and you had action surge. You could actually take 6 attacks on the first round as a Gloomstalker fighter, Gloomstalker Ranger / fighter. That's pretty much the same for Umbral Sight, except it changed it to 60 feet extra vision instead of 30 feet. Iron Mind. Gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. If you already have this proficiency, you instead gain proficiency in intelligence or charisma. That's the same. Now we should have Stalker's Fury or Flurry. Use the frightened effect of your Dread Ambusher feature. You can cause one of the following additional effects. Sudden strike, you make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature with 5 feet of the original. Oh. Oh, so then that's a mass fear. That's very much improved compared to the normal 11th level Stalker's Fury as it is in Xanathar's right now. That's pretty cool. The Shadowy Dodge. Creature makes attack against you. You can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on that roll. You can teleport. That's cool because it allows you to teleport away now. That's way better. Way, way better. Way better. Alright, so we're going back to the regular ranger for the player's handbook. We're going to pull up the hunter there. The hunter. Alright. And the significant changes here. Hunter's Prey now contains the 3 feature options that appeared in 2014. Giant Killer has been renamed to Retaliator. It now works against attackers of any size. That's pretty cool. Hunter's lore is moved from 6th to 3rd level. I apologize if you hear my wife in the background. She is on the phone, just came back. So my mic is picking that up. My apologies. Hunter's lore is moved from 6th level to 3rd level. Defensive tactics returns, but it contains evasion and candy dodge from superior Hunter's defense. Hunter's leap. Superior Hunter's Prey replaces multi-attack and lets you choose another option from Hunter's Prey. And Hunter's defense now lets you choose another option from defensive tactics. All right, well. It is getting close to the end of the hour. It's going to take a little bit more than 3 or 4 minutes to go through Hunter's Prey. We are on page 47. We're going to go ahead and pick up next week with here back on page 47. Let me jot that down on our list here. Right, page 47. Just a reminder, tomorrow I'm going to be, we will have our dungeon delving stream, but instead of 2 to 4 p.m. we might be looking at 3 to 5 p.m., maybe a little after 3 till after 5. My aunt passed away last Friday, so we're going to be having her funeral tomorrow. So I'll be spending some time with the family there, and then we'll be back to be able to stream after all of that is finished up. We did pick up Baldur's Gate 3. So we're going to be doing that for Dungeon Delving probably starting next week. We probably will go ahead and run Lord of the Rings online this Thursday and Friday for our Dungeon Delving streams. And then, of course, we will be back this Sunday with part 2 of Veterans Vault, Sunday 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. Right here on twitch.tv/the Master of Dungeons channel. I'd like to thank all of our supporters, especially our patrons from Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron or subbing here on Twitch. Again, twitch.tv/the Master of Dungeons. The link to our Patreon page as well as our YouTube and social media accounts can be found in the About Us section below here on Twitch. If you would, please subscribe to us on YouTube. We have lots and lots of views. We just need some more subscriptions as well. Make sure to like and comment on those videos also. Helps us out tremendously. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Give us some likes, retweets, all that good stuff. Every sub, like, comment, and share helps us immensely. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, you can join the Master of Dungeons Community Discord server as well in the About Us section. Just click on that Discord panel, and we'll give you a link to join our server. Share that with your friends, share that with your enemies, share that with your family, share it with strangers. Just make sure that they understand that they're going to help create a accepting, caring, and tolerant community. And we also have our merch store as well. That is available to help out if you want to help out the channel also. And of course, thanks for watching. As always, happy adventuring.